even better news is it's a holiday tomorrow. It's the 4th of July, Independence Day.
Oh, shit.
Grilling, fireworks, hot water, cold beers, and more importantly, we have some exciting racing. The championships of Wimbledon are happening right now, so I've been a very happy boy.
Yeah?
All week. Yeah, I've just been having it on my iPad every day at work, at the office, just like, all right, I'm gonna have this on in the background. Watched a couple of really good matches so far, just remind me of last year. I'm like, oh, man, that was fun.
That's awesome. Have you placed any wagers on Wimbledon?
I have placed 2 wagers on Wimbledon, and I've won one of the 2. I took the over on the Taylor Fritz and it's a Frenchman's name, Pesci Peregrine or something like that is his last name. Dude's 6'8" and hit the fastest recorded serve ever at Wimbledon. I think it was like
Nice.
153 miles an hour, what it got clocked at. He
Good for
lost
him.
that point, by the way, which is always the funny part to me. But
That's crazy.
I took the over on total aces. The line was set at 45 and a half. And I think they ended up with over 60 in the match or something like that. So I felt pretty good about that one.
Damn.
And the other one, I don't remember what it was because I lost. So there's that.
Doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. That's that.
Good Wimbledon recap. Anything else that we need to know about the world of tennis?
I think that's the most important thing about the world of tennis for this program.
There we go. That's awesome.
So, what do you say? Should we get into it?
I mean, we may as well. This is not a tennis program.
That's
Backmarkers podcast.
It
is the latest and greatest F1 podcast that nobody really asked for, but we're doing anyway.
Here you go.
Here we go.
Here we go. So I posted our driver rankings and team rankings leading into the Silverstone Grand Prix here, and I was very, very pleased with our Americanness that we added onto it.
What did? Sorry, go ahead. What did we add? I forget.
We warned the British drivers, just remember, this is the 4th of July. So we put all 4 of them, because there's 4 of them now. Don't forget about the young Ollie Behrman there. And so, yeah, a bunch of different ones. But yeah, I said, don't forget, it's the 4th of July. And then under our team power rankings, after Red Bull, I put Let Freedom Ring, and I put Haas in there.
There we go.
Watch out. I wanted to put this in the rankings, but I ended up just putting it into our comment on the post. I said, but don't forget, British drivers, it's the 4th of July and your lucky Logan Sargent isn't on track. Shout out Logan
bursting in air, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Or the engines, one or the other if you're Williams.
That's not the brakes.
No, but their engine blew the 2 weeks prior to that for Albon.
See, I don't know. I feel like the engine blowing up only happens so many times in a row. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
the fact that it's multiple times in a row is an issue.
Yeah. All right. That's fair.
So you got that going for you there. But the British Grand Prix is a fun one. I don't know why they decided to put it on the 4th of July. That seems stupid. But, I guess the world doesn't always revolve around us.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with my Australian friend, and I wasn't even sure that he knew what his Independence Day from England was. So that was fun.
I think that's earlier in the year, if I remember correctly.
I think it's January. I think he said it was January, but we were not 100% sure.
January 26th. Yeah, we were both on that.
There we go.
We're more Australian than the Australian.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Well, you're more Canadian than most in Canada today. It was only a couple of days ago.
Yeah, and I did celebrate that by sending you a Terrence and Phillip from South Park gift.
Hell yeah, you did.
Yeah, there we go. That's what matters.
For how close I do live to Canada, it was shocking. I didn't actually see anything happen or hear any fireworks or anything like that going off. Because let's be honest, they didn't really fight for their independence. They were just kind of eventually hey, can we have this? And the British government was like, Bro, it's post World War II. We got no money. Get out of here.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So there's that for you too. Yeah, we get the fireworks. We get the. I mean, it's in the song. It's Francis Scott Key penned it. Watching Fort McHenry over Baltimore, the bombs bursting in air. It's like, well, yeah, they were bombarding the Americans, and they just didn't win that one. So here we are. In American Independence Day, we get to celebrate by watching the British Grand Prix. It's fun.
there we go. And that's our
How
little bit
times
of
have changed.
patriotism for the weekend.
Yes, yes, it is. But yeah, I mean, I love these back-to-backs, Austria into this. Silverstone's always a fun track too. It's historic, very much like Monaco, but better racing, very much.
Considerably better.
Considerably better for sure. Remind me, is Silverstone, is that an old runway? Or
Yeah,
like airport?
Yeah, so it was an airfield during World War II, and post-war, a bunch of mechanics that learned their mechanicking skills, working on aircraft and everything, decided they should build some race cars and have some races there. So I think it's where the first Formula One race took place, but I could be wrong on that.
I believe you were right on it was the first. It was definitely in the first season though.
Yeah, no, it's like the track. It's like the Garden in basketball. It's like a big deal.
I was waiting for you to say a couple more of them.
No, I was gonna compare it
Fenway.
to Lambeau Field for the Packers.
Title town with the Packers. That's fair.
I did not want to bring that up to a Lions fan. You know what I mean? I didn't want to offend your sensibilities or anything.
Let me be honest with you about Lions fandom here. As of 2 years ago, we never had a leg to stand on in any of our rivalries. So, pre Dan Campbell, post Bobby Lane, there was nothing that we could really say about anything there.
It's still fuck them, right?
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
you still hate them. Yeah, so I didn't want to bring up the enemy. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter that you lose to them consistently or historically heretofore have lost to them consistently, but still fuck them.
Still fuck them. But hey, it's 4th of July. We're all one big happy family, except for Ohio State. Fuck you, Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah, I can't. I can get. I was at work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this dude was wearing a Florida hat.
Okay.
And like dressed in full Gators gear, right? And I realized my watch is orange and blue. That's an accident. But he's dressed in full Gators gear, and I just kind of was looking at him. He's like, "What's up?" I was like, "I'm from Athens," and he's like, and we just knew that one of us was going to have to leave, otherwise it was going to be a fist fight. You know what I mean? But I kind of diffused the situation. I was like, man, these Michigan fans, they got a cute rivalry, don't they? And he goes, oh my God, they have no idea how adorable it is. Like you guys in Ohio State, you guys in Michigan State, it is nothing compared to Georgia, Florida.
That is just so factually false, like objectively false. Like you look at the lists of the greatest rivalries in all of sports. The one in college football that's always going to make the list is Michigan-Ohio State. It is a whole different beast. There's no name for it. We don't need it on neutral ground. It's just the game. That's all it is. It's the game. That's all you need.
It's cute. It's
number
cute,
one.
Is what it is. It's adorable.
Okay, sure.
It's cute.
Well, we'll move past our college football talk. We're a little early in the season for that. And we'll get back to some race talk here for you fans that have our, few minutes in now and wondering, when are we going to get to, the Cars on Track talk? We teased you a little bit. And now we're trying to get back to it.
I feel like I'm going to end up distracting us one more time, but let's go.
Hey, that's fair. We're here for it. That's what we're here for. It's our stump, and we get to do what we want with it. So, but after the Austrian Grand Prix, you had the McLaren fight at the front. Lando is within my 20-point margin at the moment. And this is my weekend that I staked my claim as I either stay on the Lando train or I stay off of it. And I told you in the last episode, I was going to get delusional and I was going to be all on board Team Lando again for this race. And I tell you what, I'm all on board Team Lando again for this race. And it's going to be horrible because, as we've noticed in trends from this entire podcast, when I'm fully on board, bad things happen for Lando. The second I'm just like, I can't do it, he wins a race. So naturally, he's going to lose this race.
Yeah,
But
you just cursed him, bro. You just
out of
cursed
the,
his
I would say
championship.
out of the 4 British drivers, who do you think has the best chance of taking home a victory here?
I want to say it's Lewis,
Mm-hmm.
just because like
Repeat the magic.
he had a couple magical moments. I mean, and he's the best to ever do it.
Mm-hmm.
But the McLaren looks really good. I don't know, man. I still think that Oscar is going to outclass him, and I think that we might see a return to the norm. But that's what we love about the sport. You got to watch to figure out what's going to happen.
Yeah. I think poetically, Oscar winning would be hilarious because
Oh,
then Lando would have won in Australia and Oscar in in
yeah,
Britain.
it would have rocked. I mean, I don't know. I think that I think we're in for a good weekend. I think
Mm-hmm.
we're in for a really good weekend.
Oh, absolutely. I saw earlier too, the weather forecast says there's probably gonna be some rain on Sunday as well. We know we love a wet track out there. That always makes things more fun.
Little bit spicy, absolutely.
Hmm. Can you stay out? Yes, yes. Immediately spins.
No. Yeah.
Oh,
No.
that was the other thing that I was wondering if anybody would notice in our rankings. I just purposefully left Lance Stroll out. I
I
I
didn't
didn't
even notice that.
I
Wow.
didn't have a category for him. I didn't want to add another line. I was just like, let's see what happens. And someone did the one comment we have on that post at the moment. It's Lance's face, and then it's the poem where like you spell out other words through the other ones. And so it has like Schumacher, Vettel, and all these other
You
ones,
mean
like the
an
5 grades.
acrostic poem?
What's what's that?
Acrostic poem? Where
Yeah, is
you
that what those are
Okay, all
called?
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was that one. I was like, that's okay, someone noticed that's pretty good. Yeah, it goes Senna, Hamilton, Schumacher, Prost, Vettel, Alonso. So it spells out Stroll when you line them up a certain way.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah,
That's
absolutely.
awesome. Good
Absolutely
on them.
hilarious.
Good on them.
Yes. Good on them for noticing it and playing into the bit as well. So, but yeah, I mean, so you're thinking McLaren up front again, probably for the weekend here, continuing the title fight between the two?
I don't know. I would love for it to be Ferrari. I would love to be surprised. I would
Hmm.
love because they had a pretty decent showing last weekend, all things considered.
Great showing. You didn't want to talk about
So
it, but they had a great showing last weekend.
well, I didn't want to talk about it because it wasn't first and second where they belong. I mean, let's be clear. Um, I think that having some of the updates that they've brought to the car and
Hmm.
Lewis having a little bit of magic at his home track is always something to keep your fingers crossed for.
Yeah, definitely. And it says, yeah, that was one of the headlines coming into the race weekend on F1's website was about Ferrari's upgrades and what they're able to do with that car, and again, subsequently seeing the performance after Austria. So yeah, hopefully that can continue. The fight for second between Ferrari and Mercedes is going to be really fun to watch down the stretch here. I believe it was Ferrari who just edged out in front of Mercedes there by like a point or two in the constructors right now. So
Mhm.
that's gonna be very, very, very fun to watch coming down the rest of the race calendar here. This is week 12. So after this, we're kind of like at the halfway point of the season then.
For all intents and purposes, yeah.
How's that happened already? That's crazy.
One race at a time.
One race at a time. You know what's funny about that though? When I made my statement that after this weekend I would decide what to do or not, I didn't realize that was halfway. I thought it was like a third of the way, and I was like, man, it's gonna be really early. I could get off of it. Halfway into this, I'm like, oh no, like it's a bad time to get off a take. You just might as well stick it out at that point.
And it sneaks up on you because the summer break is a little bit later,
Hmm.
so
Yeah, why is that so late? Is that just because Europe, the entire continent, takes a holiday in August? Is that the only reason?
um I have no idea. I don't live there. Honestly, I kind of like it. So like I don't know. I think about like when I'm at work. I like to go
Hmm.
to lunch a little bit later, take a
Yeah,
little break in the afternoon, and have like a shorter shift in the
fully on
afternoon,
board with that.
breaking it up
Yep.
that way. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
So that could be like the mindset of the season is you get through the long part, you take a little bit to relax, and then you get back after it with a fresh mind and fresh body and have a shorter sprint to the end. So
Yeah.
um I don't know. Beats me. Sorry.
I'm gonna
Not
stake my
European
claim
enough.
on it. It's probably something to do with their holiday break and just like a cultural thing overall. But if we're wrong and you want to let us know, you can email us at backmarkersf1pod@gmail.com. Did I do
Excellent
a good job there?
plug. That was amazing. Let me
Hell yeah.
check. Do you want to guess how many emails we have received
Absolutely, I want
to
to
our
guess.
email here?
I'm gonna say we got 0 emails.
You are incorrect, sir.
We got an email?
We got an email.
Let's go. Okay,
We
let's
got an
listen to this.
email
What is it?
from Jackson.
Jackson. Okay.
Jackson says, "Great content, brother. Huge fan."
Hey,
That's
all right.
the extent of the email. There we go. We love it.
You know what that means? One, we haven't been wrong yet.
I guess that is what that means. Yeah, there we go. Thanks,
yet.
Jackson.
Thank you, Jackson.
Yeah.
We appreciate the support. Shout out you for sending us an email. Like you said, if we get more of these, we'll start a segment. Listeners submitted either questions or comments, or we'll read your roasts. One or the other. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, shit. We'll probably say something wrong eventually, but no, we won't.
True. I feel like this would have been the perfect moment for fireworks, and we missed it by a day when we're recording here.
We might be able to do something about that. We'll see.
Fair enough. But yeah, as you're listening when this comes out, it is the 4th of July. So there will be fireworks maybe in your ears as you're listening to this late at night. If you're in the US here, as we read that, boom, something went off. I don't know. But hey, shout out Jackson. We appreciate you.
Thanks, buddy.
Alrighty. So yeah, we talked about for the Mercedes and the McLaren stuff. I mean, I think we got to stop beating around the bush about this. Silly season is just waiting to fall off the edge here and just blow everything up. I mean,
I love it.
Everything is riding on the Max news, right? Once that happens, everything else will fall into place. The chaos will ensue at that point in time. And I mean, is it just plainly obvious he's going to Mercedes?
I feel like the cards are kind of pointing that way at this point.
Toto's been so vocal about it.
Yeah, so I've heard that he's got a release clause if Red Bull is 4th in the constructors at the summer break, which I think is after Turkey, he can get out of his contract with no issues, no problems. The rumor that I'm hearing and the hang up, I guess, on why he hasn't been signed is that release clause, because I think that release clause is $50 million a year to Red Bull.
Holy shit.
In addition to whatever his new salary would be, which could be in excess of 100 million euros a year. So it's kind of one of those uncharted territory things. And part of the reason for Lewis's supposed departure, or not supposed, it happened, obviously, but supposedly part of the reason is that the Mercedes board of directors would not approve such a high salary for a Formula One driver. So it it's a question of money. And who has it? Max has said, and he was kind of joking, but I think, and other people have said this, I also tend to agree with them. He was in talks with McLaren, but then they realized they couldn't afford him, and I don't think they could afford him.
Right.
So
entered Kimi Antonelli then.
No, so entered Oscar signing a renewed contract with McLaren.
Oh, I thought you said Mercedes. My fault. I did not hear that. So McLaren wanted to pair Max alongside Lando. Well, vice versa, but
yeah, Lando alongside Max.
Yeah.
And then basically the rumor is that they realized they couldn't afford him.
Right.
So maybe that has more truth to it.
Darn, they might have run into the next dynasty driver.
Oh, no, because straight up, dude, I think Oscar is better than Lando. I don't know if Oscar is better than Max, but he is decidedly better than Lando. and we know that I've been in that camp for a while.
Yes.
But we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. But if it's a question of money, you know who has it? Papa Stroll.
Oh yeah, he does.
So if the Max to Mercedes move doesn't happen, do we see Max being reunited with his old friend Adrian Newey? And could that be a coexistence between those two?
Mm-hmm. And then what? Fernando would just ride off into the sunset, or would you see a Fernando at Red Bull?
I would be incredibly shocked if we saw Fernando at Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think, honestly, I would love to see Fernando finish his career at Aston Martin and see Fernando and Max in the same car. And we kind of are on the same page. I think that Lance should be the guy in WEC and should go win the 24 Hours of Le Mans and kick ass in endurance racing and do some other series that are maybe not Formula One.
Right.
That's the move that I would be making. If I could send a bunch of Brinks trucks to Max's apartment in Monaco and be like, hey, let's build you a Scrooge McDuck pool made of gold for you to swim in, and see if that works.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, then shit, I don't know who they go for.
I gotta say, you're the only one I've ever heard talk so much about Max to Aston, which makes a ton of sense with the money and the Newey play.
Yeah.
But so everybody's just focused on this Mercedes play right now.
Because Mercedes historically has been the team to beat, you know?
Sure.
All the rumors and all the buzz is saying, or all the talk is saying that, you know, Mercedes has the engine for next year, and they're testing very, very well, and people are going to know better than we do. But it's one of those things where the regulation change is so make or break that if you get that right, and I think Max has a desire to go to Mercedes more than to Aston Martin.
I would say so.
But you also can't ignore the Honda connection. You know what I mean? Like, he's been a Honda driver. He's got that affiliation, and who knows, with Adrian Newey putting a car together and the engines regulation changing, who knows what we could see, or who the dominant team is going to be until they get out for testing.
Yeah, that's fair. But also, I feel like the lack / zero talk of an Aston Martin play here has got to be like awesome for Lawrence Stroll. Just quietly, just like, you know what, I can come in, I can do this for you, I can do this for you. Nobody even knows what we're doing. Like, Mercedes is the best smokescreen ever for him at that point in time. If those are serious conversations and discussions going on behind the scenes that no one just knows about, honestly. Because the Lewis to Ferrari, that obviously that one was a big shock, because literally no one saw that one happening. So it can be done, which is crazy, seeing that picture of Max surrounded by, I think, every person in the media at the race today.
And he looked unhappy. He looked absolutely miserable.
He's got a lot of Iceman in him for sure. He doesn't want to do any of that shit.
No, absolutely not. He's like, all right, let's get this over with, please. But his Red Bull shirt, the white, that
fire.
Oh my God. I'm not even give me the merch. I'm not even a Red Bull guy. Fucking, here's my credit card, take my money, give me the merch. That's just it. We got to talk more about that later.
For sure.
But I think I have no idea, man. Well,
let's run through two scenarios here on Max to Mercedes, Max to Aston, and how that could shake down the rest of the grid, if you will. So we'll start with the Mercedes one first. So Max to Mercedes. Oh my God, big news. We all saw it coming, but it finally happens, blah, blah, blah. Who leaves?
It's a good question.
From everything that Toto has said, it sounds like Kimi's gone. It sounds
Really?
like, from what I've been seeing, yeah, it sounds like he's very much, we love George. George has been consistent. George is good. George even today was saying he feels very confident that he will be with Mercedes next year. Like, it's, yeah, the contract's not done, but it's all, everything on his side is pointing in the right direction with the team or whatever. And Toto has basically said, like, well, I have no problem pairing two top drivers together, aka Lewis and Nico.
Yeah.
You
We saw how that went.
right. So with that, if that's the scenario, Kimi's axed, where does he go?
Dude, I have no idea. And that's like the biggest question mark, because he was the Mercedes driver, young driver for a long time. He was this kind of anointed next guy.
Yeah.
An alien, if you will.
Alien Watch.
He's on Alien Watch,
Yeah.
know. But I think that there are two schools of thought here, right? George has been the Mercedes golden boy for a while and was kind of the heir apparent to Lewis's seat,
right?
Until Kimi came along. Why would you move on from this guy that you've set very highly? You've moved his career along. You funded his career. You got him the Williams seat. Williams didn't want to give him up when you asked for him. Why would you move away from that guy? Right? The other thing is, we see what has happened to guys that are Max's teammates. Why would you, if you have a golden boy in Kimi, who is the next big thing, so to speak, coming along, and everybody says he could be the next Max, why are you dumping him? Or why are you putting him next to a guy who fucking takes his teammates and throws them into a wood chipper? So if Max moves to Mercedes, I don't like either move that they would make from there. What would make the most sense is keep George and move Kimi to the third driver seat or reserve driver seat, or see if Cadillac could take him on, or like a paid role or something like that. But do you want to give up your next big thing? Like, who's the guy who's coming down the road after Max retires, after George retires? And I'll bring it back to an interview, and I'm sorry for pontificating here.
That's okay.
I bring it back to an interview where Max said he is more than halfway through his career. He doesn't want to stay in Formula One forever. He got his Nürburgring license. He famously last weekend also could have gone to the 24 hours at Spa if he had gotten another penalty point and just fucked off the race over there. So it's one of those things that there's no right answer and there's no good answer. But I would be, and the other thing is, and again, I'm sorry for talking so long. I'm going to try and wrap this up, but you need to have the car to win the championship.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could stick Max in the Sauber and he's going to do good, but he's not going to bring home a title.
Right.
Like, he's in a Red Bull. Where's he in the title standings? He's not bringing it home. You know what I mean? If you get him into the second best car, he will eke out podiums and he'll give a fight. But realistically, you need to have your car dialed in. You need to have that shot of being the best team on the grid. So why would you get somebody who is, well, I mean, I understand why you would get Max, because A, you take him away from your competition, but also you get the best driver on the grid.
Right.
But if you don't have that car, what does it matter? You know what I mean? Like, Lewis going to Ferrari right now, He's not in the best car. He's still putting in great performances. He's still kind of ironing things out as far as his gel and his fit with the team. But he's not leading the championship.
Right. But that's all, and that's why I don't think the Aston one makes a lot of sense to me either. Because while he could get the Brinks truck of, I understand that you can get all the money in the world, and he could be paired up with Adrian Newey again. But I think at the root of what Max's driving is he wants to win. And I don't think that Aston, even with everything, is going to be ready for that next year. It might be better, it might be closer, but I don't think that car is going to be fighting for the victories right away. And if we're going back to Max is over halfway done in his career, he probably needs that more of that win now mentality rather than going to a development, going to a project. It's win now versus waning. And if he's in the last half of his career, the waning really isn't an option anymore. You want to continue to win and add on to that legacy.
Yes, but I also feel like he's not happy at Red Bull. And I
feel that's
like
why I think the Mercedes move makes way more sense than the Aston.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, if the Mercedes move isn't the right move and can't be pulled off,
mm-hmm.
does he just go back to Red Bull?
I think he probably would.
I don't know.
That's fair. We'll see. But if he does go to Mercedes, I still want to flush this idea out a little bit.
Hit it.
If you keep George, that's not a bad move for them still, because George he's proven himself in the sport. He's proven himself as a race winner. He's done it this year. He's consistent. He's grown past all those whatever wonky moments as we've seen so far that have happened earlier on in his career, just the one-offs or whatever. So Kimi's still raw talent that you would have to develop, and yes, that would be a much longer term play for you, but it's not like George is a short term play for yourself either. Like, you now have a proven emerging veteran in the sport. He's got a lot of years left in, multiple race winner. Like, he's got multiple years ahead of him still. Like, that's more of a sure thing than Kimi. Kimi's a bigger risk. We think that he's going to be pretty good in his career, but if you're in Mercedes seat and you want to get back to let's dominate everybody, I think you take the two sure things if you can get Max with George. I think that's the alternative theory there. And then if
that makes sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
That makes sense, but what do you do with the next big thing? You know what I mean? Because say Max has 3 years left.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like say he's 3 years left,
mm-hmm.
right? Where's Kimi going to be in 3 years?
Well, there's no saying you couldn't buy him again.
You could, but how are those feelings going to be affected? Like, do the Italians sweep him up? He's an Italian driver. Does he just go to Ferrari?
This is the play that I wanted to flush out here because I think this is the most exciting drama.
This makes your text from earlier make so much more sense.
I think this makes the most exciting drama of the whole thing. Okay. Max to Mercedes. Mercedes drops Kimi. The Italians see Kimi, and they pick up Kimi. Charles Leclerc is like, get me the fuck out of here. I'm sick of you people. Then Charles becomes a free agent, which is then a whole, like, whatever these plays are all going to be massive. I think if Max leaves, massive shakeup on the entire grid, I think. In which case, where would Charles go? I think you could see him at Red Bull.
I don't see Charles wanting to leave at all.
I mean,
he is El Predestino. They don't want him. He does not want to be anywhere other than the red team. In that man's
face, are you sure about that?
I see it. I feel it, motherfucker. Like that is my pain, right? Like
is he just gonna be Mike Trout and just he's great, but nothing's ever gonna happen?
I am not gonna say my spicy Mike Trout take.
You don't think he's that good?
I mean, he's not Judge.
Oh, get off. We're not getting into baseball talk here.
We shouldn't, because I will be misinformed and I will make the internet mad, but I think that I don't know. He's not Tatis. He's not a couple of other guys.
This is insane. You're right. He's better than all of them. Anyways, back to racing.
Moving on.
Back to racing. I think that would be the juiciest and the most crazy thing that could happen on the grid this year.
I don't see
Drop
a world
Kimi.
where Charles
The Ferrari
voluntarily
gets them,
wants to leave.
or Red Bull tries to pick up Kimi then at that point in time.
Which would make more sense with their young driver initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Their car's still shit. You know, and I feel like this year has kind of proven that they're in over their head as far as car design goes.
Mm-hmm. How much of that is you think they're still just they're also just punting to next season?
I don't think they are.
Like they obviously tried.
No, I don't think they are. I don't think they are because, like, taking it to basketball, the Bucks just waived and stretched Damian Lillard's contract. They ate more money than any team has ever eaten in the NBA before.
Right.
Right? They did it to keep Giannis happy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't see a world where that makes sense. I mean, like, I kind of understand why they did it because they don't want their generational talent to go away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If I'm the Bucks GM, I'm calling 32, 30, 31, however many fucking teams are in the NBA, 29 of their teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, what are you going to give me for the top 3 player in basketball right now?
Mm-hmm.
What's your best offer for the Greek Freak? You know, I think that even though the Milwaukee Bucks are a sinking ship, they made that move to appease their superstar. There's no Formula One equivalent to that. The ship is sinking at Red Bull. The car is shit. It needs to be redeveloped. They're bringing in new people. They're trying to rework the development. But what are you going to do when your superstar is unhappy and has exit clauses because of performance?
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, but I still think the Red Bull is an attractive offer. It's dangerous, but it's attractive still.
I don't think it's as attractive as the Aston Martin seat with the unlimited money that's being poured in there. I don't think it's as attractive as and the Ferrari seats, in my opinion, are locked up because they're not getting rid of Lewis. And Charles,
Lewis is there.
And Charles has been the face of the franchise. I don't, and maybe this is my fandom speaking, I don't want him going anywhere. I don't think he wants to go anywhere. I think that is a very happy partnership, and he's okay with them bringing in a 7-time world champion and being the backseat guy for a couple of years. I don't know.
I don't know that he is the backseat guy.
Compared to Lewis?
Lewis now, yeah.
Give it time. I don't know. I think they see themselves on equal footing. I think it's fair to be on equal footing. But
Charles came in with Vettel at the top of his game, and he didn't take a backseat to him.
100%. But the money aspect of 7-time world champion coming to Ferrari, winning his 8th world title, breaking all those records, and then riding off into the sunset. You're telling me that you can't play second fiddle for a year?
No, absolutely not.
Huh?
No, you can't in this sport. You just can't. If you get beaten on track, then so be it. But you can't just willingly go, okay, yeah, for Lewis, okay. No, he hasn't won anything. Grand Championship, he has obviously won.
In Ferrari, he's not won anything in Ferrari yet.
He's won races, but correct, they've not won a championship, a constructors champion, a world driver. Like, you tell me he finally gets an opportunity, he's just gonna say no. I wouldn't do that.
No, that's fair, and I apologize for my ignorance. That is correct.
I get the fandom side of it and wanting to see Lewis do it again and like, why can't he just give him one or whatever? It's like, do you know who these guys are? They're the top talent, and there's there'll be 22 of them in the world. Like,
but the sponsorship money that they are going to get should they make that happen and pull off the 8th world title. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, if I'm Ferrari, I'm probably also wanting that to happen too. But if I'm Charles Leclerc, no fucking chance that's going to happen.
They didn't sign him for him to not be winning championships.
Right.
So I'll just put it to you that way. They didn't sign him for him to not be winning championships.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how it goes.
We shall see how it goes. But either way, if Max leaves, that leaves an open seat. And if I'm going to say my opinion on this, 2 open seats probably at Red Bull by the end of this year. Who the hell would go there? Who's
Not
going
looking
there?
for you. But that's the thing. Who's going there?
Right.
If I've got a lockdown seat at Ferrari, I'm not going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
If they kick me out, I'd consider it, but I'd call Aston Martin first and call Papa Stroll. I don't know about Cadillac because of the question marks around their program,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if anything happens, I'm watching that very closely.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
calling
with
Mercedes, and I'm saying, hey,
I'll take either
what
of
do you
them.
want for Kimi? Give me either driver to put next to Valtteri. Like, let's go.
The biggest people rooting for Max to leave Mercedes is probably Cadillac.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely.
And meanwhile, all the guys on the sideline are going, damn it, Max, why are you doing this for me? Checo's like, he's ruining my career again. Because now it's going to be one of them, him or Valtteri, which, again, Valtteri going to Alpine doesn't make any sense to me. Flavio, whatever, I get the call or whatever. But
I think that's maybe overblown. I think that is a ship that is sinking even faster than the Red Bull.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of their management, in terms of their turnover, in terms of them not having a clue what the fuck they're doing. I'm not taking that phone call unless it's Papa Stroll money.
Right. Fair enough. But dude, this silly season's gonna be if Max leaves, this one's gonna be crazy. I know Lewis leaving was crazy, but it was really it wasn't all that crazy in hindsight because it was okay, well, what's Carlos gonna do? And then that affected kind of the bottom half teams at that point in time. It didn't really affect anybody else at the top because everybody else at the top was kind of locked in at that point in time.
Yeah,
with their driver lineups.
This is just a domino waiting to fall. As soon as that happens, the rest of everything is going to happen pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all sitting on the edge of our seats just waiting. What's going to happen? What's he going to do? Where is he going to go? Let's see it.
Can't wait. We'll see.
Absolutely. Cannot wait. With that, what do you say we get into a couple of stats and history here before we get into our fantasy picks / race preview? What do you say?
Oh, yeah, this is a Pontiac Grand Prix-view. I forgot it wasn't just silly season talk.
Correct. It's a lot of silly season because it's very, very juicy at the moment. But yes, this is the British Pontiac Grand Prix-view here for you. So we talked a little bit about it earlier. First Grand Prix was 1950, part of the original ones. Again, do believe that was the first one overall. Lap record is held by Max from 2020. Now we'll get into the trivia portion. Who do you think has had the most pole positions here? Lewis, by a mile. 7 of them. Yeah. Most wins at this race.
Also Lewis.
Yes, he won his 9th one last year to extend that. That race last year was epic. That was so much fun to see.
Yeah.
That really was. Oh, here you go. Yes, this we get confirmation on what we've been speculating. Silverstone hosted the first Formula One World Championship round some 75 years ago on May 13th, 1950. So there you go. There's that one. It says safety car probability 88%, with 55 overtakes here last year. That seems awfully low, doesn't it?
Yes, but it also is a proper track. You know what I mean? There's lots of area where you can collect a car if it's been in an incident, and there's a lot more effective recovery procedures. I don't know. I would still say there's possibly going to be have we gotten to the predictions? We're not gotten to the predictions. Not yet. Okay. We'll save that one for
put a pin in it
when we get there.
Yeah.
I'm
To be
still
fair.
mad, by the way, about the 75 and me screwing up basic math on the Monaco Grand Prix that one time. Yeah, that's it.
Arithmetic, baby.
Yeah, sorry
This
to
is
digress there.
this is a long track, 5.8 kilometers. So I did know it was big, but that's a big one.
I don't know how big a kilometer is.
Less than a mile.
Yeah.
Less than a mile, I know that. Okay, here we go. It started scrolling again. And okay, here we go. Last 5 pole sitters. Last year you had George on pole. Prior to that was Max, then Carlos, then Max and Lewis. And then your last 5 winners last year obviously was Lewis, Max prior to that, Carlos before that, and then Lewis and Lewis the 2 years prior to that as well. So yeah, Carlos pole then win, Max pole then win, George pole, but then Lewis and the Mercedes win. So that's 3 out of 5 years. Yeah, 3 out of 5 of the last years here, the pole sitter has won the race, which it's generally good to be out front to start. It's true of most races, I would say.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Groundbreaking news coverage here at the
Groundbreaking. Yeah. No, that's never been thought of once before in this thing. Get on pole. You have a better chance of winning.
Incredible analysis.
Dude, that's what you're here for. So there you go. There's your stats and history for Silverstone and the British Grand Prix. Let's go ahead and get into our fantasy pick / race preview overall. So, as we talked about in the last episode, I finally won something on this podcast. I won fantasy last week, which means I get to have the first overall pick here, and I'm very excited about that. But again, snake style format. I'll go first. You'll go second and third. There was some questions when I posted the results on that again as to the scoring of this, so I'll just go over how we're scoring this. We're
Please,
taking
because I've
team.
forgotten already.
Fair enough. We're taking team driver head-to-head matchups, and it's being scored based off of position differential between the driver you pick and then their said teammate. Scored reverse order, so first place gets 20, down to 1 point for 20th place, 0 points for the DNF. That's where the question came into play. It was why did George get I think it was 17 points rather than 16 with Kimmy's DNF. It's because Kimmy had the DNF, so the way we're scoring it, 0 points for any sort form of a not completing the race. So that's our rundown. Leads into my first overall pick, and I'm very excited to take this pick. I'm taking Max over Yuki.
What?
I know,
that is
crazy.
Incredible. That is such a bold prediction.
The boldest, if I do say so myself. Absolutely crazy. While the Red Bull is shit, Max is still an alien. He still outperforms that car by a country mile, maybe 2, maybe 5 kilometers. I don't know. But either way, a 5K is about 3.2 miles. So there's a little bit more of some breakdown for you. Yuki is struggling, and even at his best, he's getting maybe 8th place in that car at the moment, squeaking into round 3 for qualifying. It's obvious still, and Red Bull, as we found out, is nothing without Max on the track. Max is, I still believe, in going to try to compete to win. I still think, again, that competitor in him is not going to allow him to throw races so he can get his claws to get out. As it stands, they're not going to finish better than 4th in the constructors anyways, based on how Ferrari and Mercedes performances have been. They have 2 drivers versus Red Bull's 1.
It's certain points in the season, but yes, I agree with you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, they've not both been good at the same time, but there's at least one of them who is performing better, and the point differential between those guys and the Red Bull at the moment is over 40 points between Red Bull and Mercedes in 3rd. That's a lot of ground for Max that's a lot of ground for Max to make up in a car that he hasn't had the last few years when he was winning his championships pretty handily. So, Max over Yuki. What would you like for your round 1 pick?
I don't like any of them.
You don't like a single one of them?
I don't like anything. I'm very unhappy, Derek.
Oh,
I'm very
man.
unhappy. You stole my Dutchman from me.
I did.
I am going to take with my second. The hardest part of this is remembering who's on what team and who's teammate.
You should pull up the drivers of the teams.
I could do that, but that would lose the charm of the episode.
Fair enough.
I like obviously Oscar over
You want
Lando.
Oscar?
I don't think that point differential is going to be tremendous.
Agreed.
But I'm still going to take it.
You're still doing it. Okay.
I'm still doing it.
Oscar
because
over Lando.
My other pick is going to be a little bit more, what's the word I'm looking for here? Not controversial, but I'm going to take Fernando over Lance.
That's not even a little controversial. I assume that would be your next pick.
Really?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I assume that would be your next one because, again, it's Fernando is in peak form right now at the Aston Martin. And, well, Lance is Lance. 70. Lance is Lance. He's
doing a
he's
great
finishing
job.
Races. He's finishing races.
He's doing a great job. And
he's not scoring points as of late. He did earlier this season, but it's not earlier this season. It's current form. And he's out there. He's not really, he hasn't been causing trouble.
He's competing.
He's driving.
He's driving
the car. He's driving the car
He's
out
driving
there.
the car. He's driving the car. There. He is certainly driving.
And Fernando has only been getting better. So yes, that's an easy pick in my mind as well. Fernando over Lance. But yeah, back to McLaren talk. It might be a point or two differential, I would say, between them. And even if Lando ends up in front of Oscar here, you're only going to lose 1 or 2 points. So it's a very low risk play. But overall, you've been right more often this season when it came to that matchup. So odds are you're probably going to be right again. So, leading into my second round pick, I'm going to take a quick peek at the order here. Now, here is where it gets tricky because those are, I think, the Max over Yuki, Fernando over Lance are the most obvious ones. And then the rest of the way it gets a little bit more like, touch and go. We'll see what happens here. I think I'm going to take Pierre Gasly over Franco Colapinto, though, for my next pick.
All right. Okay.
Pierre over Franco. Yes, the Alpine is quietly waiting for 2026 to happen.
We're waiting for 2025
they are
to start.
One or the other, both the same thing. Either way, it does not seem like they are very happy with their second seat as well, which we have not talked a lot about. Very briefly, when they ripped the seat out of Jack Doohan's cold dead hands. And it doesn't sound like they're going to go back to him or have a desire to go back to him. It sounds like they just want to move on from him and Colapinto at this point in time, which
speaks to the mismanagement in Alpine.
Yeah. It just they really haven't been a very well functional organization for quite a number of years at this point in time.
No.
Even when they were Renault, it was kind of, well, it was all over the place at that point too. You would have thought they were making a turn when they brought in Daniel and paired him with Nico, and well,
they would have thought that too.
You got him on the podium. That was kind of cool.
Yeah,
bring Fernando back. That didn't last very long. You paired him with Esteban Ocon. You got a win for Esteban, and then, well, Fernando said, "I'll take Lawrence Stroll's money."
And you lost Oscar.
Mm-hmm. And you lost Oscar. That's the biggest one. That's a big what if moment right there in the sport.
Oh, what Oscar's gone. Stayed? He's gone. He's probably not in the sport. Like he's that good, but this team is so incompetent that they let him go once. If they had him, they probably would let him go again.
Yeah.
I would argue that team has not been competent since before they were Lotus. Like back in, I would say they probably have not been truly competent since Alonso's second stint there. After he won the 2 championships and then went off and came back, I would say that was probably the last era of competence.
Yeah. Agreed.
And they were questionably competent then.
Yeah. Apologies for turning there. I heard scratching on my baseboards, and I was like, why is my dog scratching it? He's not. He's dreaming and running in his sleep, but he's just right next to it. So I'm gonna let him go. He's sleeping. That's fine.
He's a fast guy. I also have been distracted by Cat, so
That's okay. Their pets are fun. I love pets.
yes.
That leads me to my third round pick though here, and I think I'm gonna go the ooh hmm. I'm gonna go the Mercedes route and take George over Kimi.
Okay.
Again, Kimi has had great races. He's been very close to George, and he's had moments where he's not been close to George, either by his own fault or just he got caught in traffic, just some minor rookie things, whatever it might be. But Kimi has yet to beat George, and this is the home race for George. And it almost feels like he's kind of at a I don't have the option to have a misstep here. I'm kind of racing for my seat with Mercedes. So I like his consistency still and at the very least finishing ahead of Kimi at the end of the race here.
Yeah, and he's been good, and I think you're right. The added pressure of the home race, the added pressure of the contract, nut up or shut up, and we've kind of seen that he is capable of being that guy.
He's a nut up guy for sure. He'll step up. He'll definitely do it. Which is why selfishly I would love him to drive for Cadillac as well.
Dude, if I'm Cadillac and George becomes available, I am
Back
getting
up
him
the Brinks
on
truck.
a plane to Detroit immediately.
Absolutely.
Like, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Collect $200 million. 4-year contract, $50 million a year. Fucking give him Cade Cunningham money. That's what I'm doing.
Sign him to a Supermax.
Sign him to a Supermax. Fuck.
Except it was Max who took his seat, but yeah, there's a lot you could play on there.
No, I'm so excited for basketball season.
Max, Supermax.
Supermax. Okay,
that would be hilarious if anytime somebody signs a Supermax contract, they just play that instead.
Because that's the good song. Listener, look up the Pit Stop Boys. I have no idea what they're saying during the verses. That chorus is so catchy. Doesn't matter. Okay.
With that, your third round pick, sir.
That leaves me.
Yes.
With
options.
I am going to take the Williams reliability is not really appealing to me here.
No, not particularly.
Given the fact that they've kind of had their car just blow up a couple of times in a row, I really kind of want nothing to do with that pick.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I kind of like Albon here. So I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna take Alex Albon over.
You're gonna take Albon?
Carlos. The other one that I'm gonna take, and this may be controversial, but I'm just gonna send it. I am going to take Gabriel Bortoleto.
I thought you were gonna say that.
Over
the Hulk.
Hulkenberg. Yeah.
That is a very, very well, I mean, not very, very. That's a bold take, though. I like it. Bortoleto coming off the best fit race of his career in F1 so far. Nico was right there, so it's not like he blew him out of the water. But yeah, he had a very good weekend, and the Kick Sauber has been on a very nice upward trajectory here. Their form has been really good over the last few weeks. Obviously, Nico's been scoring points pretty consistently. Bortoleto finally gets on the board there for them as well for a double points finish last weekend for the Kick Sauber outfit there. That would be fun to see him continue on that. Honestly, it would be fun to see him keep that up and show the consistency and show some good back-to-back performances, and that'd be good for Audi to, like, hey, we've got a pretty good driver lineup set here, and we don't have to worry about what are we going to do here in the near future if he can keep showing that progress and that consistency.
Yeah, and I think they do have a solid driver lineup. It's just a question of the car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Similar to the Red Bull, similar to the Alpine. Is that a sinking ship or is that a rising ship?
Yeah, good point. But they have I mean, do you think that any of this comes from Bonotto's influence at all? The problem with that everybody seemed to have had with the Audi project so far is the consistent change in management and everything that way, and the restructuring, the reorganizing, and everything like that. And while it has been crazy, I would say for them, it's good that you're doing this now rather than when you're officially in charge and truly
Yeah.
just it's all on
Otherwise,
you at that point in time.
otherwise you're gonna be Alpine. Yeah.
Right. Like, hey, this is honestly, they're probably doing the right thing, noticing it now and going, yo, this ain't gonna work. We gotta change it. And while it looks
And
chaotic, it's the kinks you have to iron out when you're starting a new project.
yeah, and Benotto had always been an engine guy. He had always
Hmm.
been an engineering guy. He had always been that consistent voice at Ferrari. He was with Ferrari in the Schumacher days. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? He's been an engineering manager for that long. Yeah, I think finding people in the right spot is just as important as finding the right people for the team. You
Hmm.
know, and yeah, I think I don't know if we can pin it down to one thing necessarily, like Benato's presence, but having a guy that's been a team principal, but also has had 30 plus years experience in the sport
Hmm.
and with one of the dominant teams in one of the dominant eras, um, that doesn't hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely. And then going back over to your Williams pick here. Yeah, can they just finish both cars?
We're
Again,
gonna find out.
the start to their season was so beautiful, and it's not to
Yeah,
say they couldn't continue to score points. Obviously, the two races ago, Sainz still finished in 10th, from starting pretty far back on the grid too. So it's not that they can't. It's just the reliability issue right now. They've hit that spell of what's going wrong here, and I don't know, but yeah, hopefully they can finish. I'm still a big Carlos fan, so I really hope he ends up finishing over Albon there for you selfishly.
we'll see, man. And honestly,
We
like
shall.
I would love for you to be
I
right.
love that driver lineup though too. Albon and Sainz. It's, pseudo home race for Albon.
Yeah,
I know he
he's
races under the tie flag, but I mean he was well, definitely. But I mean he grow up in Britain and
yeah, he's British tie, but he
right
races under the tie flag because of sponsors.
for sure.
So yeah,
So which hey, smart play. I do that too if I was in his seat.
yeah.
Alrighty, so that leads me to my fourth and then fifth round picks. Man, do I want to do it? How many do I hold on? Oh, you have the only one. I'm doing it for the storyline. First, because let freedom ring. I'm gonna go Haas with this next pick, and I'm gonna take Behrman over Ocon.
Ooh, a little bit of home race bias.
Oh yeah,
All right.
which leads me into my next pick. Think you know where I'm going here? Going the red
I
team. I'm going the
ooh,
red team, and
you're
I'm
going
taking
Lewis.
Lewis to
Yeah.
finally beat Charles in a race this season. Going the hometown bias. Obviously, he had the magic happen last year. I don't think he's going to win the race, but he's the 9-time winner here. If there is a Lewis Hamilton track, this is the Lewis Hamilton
Yeah. And
track.
if yeah, you're right. If there's a time and place for him to do it, it's now.
I think this
So,
is going to be that one. So at the moment, I have my last three picks are all the British driver over their counterpart.
there we go.
You took the only other British matchup, and you have that guy losing in his team head-to-head matchup. So that leaves you with your last pick and the
Wait,
Racing Bulls.
who's I had George losing? You
No,
picked
you have
George.
Oscar beating Lando. I picked George.
Oh yeah, because fuck
Yeah.
Lando. Um
That leaves you with the Racing Bulls. Which way would you like to
apologies,
go with
Lando.
this?
I know you're a fan.
You
It
mean you're
brings
not
me
just
to
gonna
the
text
Racing
them?
Bulls. No, I don't really text them. He texts
Okay.
me, but I
You leave him on red.
straight up, like, yeah, I don't have a lot to say to him. That is such a shitty, like, that bit is awesome, and I love that bit, but that's such a shitty turn for that bit. I love it. That's beautiful. Look, we're all right. It's not a bit though, because I'm texting. I'm in the F1 drivers WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Hadjar. I don't think very highly of Liam Lawson. I want him to be successful, and I hope he is happy. But yeah, it's Hadjar all the way. Let's go.
Yeah, and I know. Yeah, he had the Lawson. That is great weekend last weekend. Can't take that away. He had a fantastic race weekend. I don't think that's the consistency that you're going to see out of him compared to Hadjar and what we have seen so far this season, though.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that. So yeah, all right, cool. There's our fantasy picks / race preview for you here. So we did get to cover all 10 teams, which will lead us into our actual picks, maybe gambling picks, whatever you want to call it. We'll take a sponsor here. We'll gladly use someone's book. Whatever it wants to be. There's lines everywhere.
And there's options, and we are flexible. Very flexible. If you work for a gambling company or a sports book, it's backmarkersf1pod@gmail.com. You know where to find us. Jackson knew where to find us.
That's right.
Send us an email. Even if you don't work for a gambling company, send us an email. We'd love to hear what you have to think.
Absolutely. Yeah, tell us your picks. Tell us what you think about driver head-to-head matchups, all that stuff. We'll love to see it, love to preview it with you. So, with that, you're a race winner. What do you think? What are you feeling for this week?
Are we doing the winner, or are we picking a whole podium here?
We haven't done that before. Do you want to do that as your bonus pick? Do you want to do the rest of the podium?
I'm feeling.
Hold on. I did not have this ready to be written down.
All right, sorry.
Go for it.
Didn't mean to throw a wrench in the program here.
No, you're good. You're good. Give it to me. I'm ready now.
Feeling an Oscar ring. Pause.
Oscar win, you said, right?
I'm feeling an Oscar win.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a Lewis podium.
Lewis on the podium. Second or third? How detailed do you want to go on this thing?
I really don't.
Okay.
But let's say third.
Okay.
Because it's probably going to be a McLaren 1-2.
Okay.
But I also want somebody else to get into the mix.
I was going to say, do you want? Are you officially declaring Lando on the podium, or are you going somewhere else?
I want Max.
You want Max on the podium?
I want Max. Yeah, let's go. Let's get crazy.
Wow. Okay. I'll put for your bonus pick, Max and Lewis on the podium.
Yeah, that's diplomatic. I like it. Thank you.
Yeah. And those are lines you can find in the books as well. As you can go specific and say second and third, but more generally, which will give, they're going to be crazy odds regardless, but it'll give you a little bit of a better fighting chance. Max and Lewis on the podium, you can also do.
See, because it's always better. It's always better to put $1 on 6 guys hitting a home run than $6 for one guy hitting a home run.
And this is part of the lost tape, that argument and that disagreement. No, it's not.
It was a lost episode. Oh, man. I forgot we lost that one. That was so funny.
Oh, yeah. That absolutely was hilarious. Okay. I like that bonus pick. That is fun. Oscar, Max, Lewis on top there on the podium. That'll be a fun race if that happens. That leads me to be picking my race winner. And I need to complete the British quad. I'm going to take Lando here, and I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose. I thought about also saying Oscar just to give Lando a better chance of pulling it off this weekend.
Sway the karma. I like it.
But I haven't. This is my weekend. This is the flag that I've planted, or the checkpoint that I've made for myself to continue to plant the flag or not plant the flag. So I'm going to ride it out until maybe the end. You know, never know. This could be the end. We'll see what happens here.
We'll see.
Could be the end. So
you're not. You're too deep.
I probably am. Here's the thing about the take game. You're never wrong. You just might be early. And if you were wrong, no, I wasn't. Why didn't Lando win? He should have won.
Yeah, send us an email. backmarkersf1pod@gmail.com.
So
That's it.
there
We're not wrong unless you
have
send
it.
us an email. And even if you do email us, no, we weren't.
True. Alrighty. Winning margin. Below 5 seconds.
Are you feeling a podium prediction as well or no?
No, I don't have a prediction for you there on that one. So I'll let you ride solo on that.
So you're a
bonus pick.
coward, is what you're saying. Got it.
Dude, nobody wants my picks. I'm 8-21
Hey,
on the season. I don't think I'm picking the podium finishers. You know what? Fine. I'll say them, but they're not official. I'm not doing anything regarding. I'm not going to put it out there. You'll only hear my bonus pick if you listen to this episode. That'll be my bonus pick.
But if it's a bonus pick, does it count against the statistics? It can't if it's a bonus.
Oh, I have been.
Who fucking cares then?
You can always. This is what I'm gonna do.
The rules are you can make them whatever you want. You're in charge of the graphics and shit.
True. Oh, good point. This is what I'm gonna do. Bonus pick. Tune into the episode to find out. So with that, I'm not giving you a bonus pick.
I'm not even gonna argue with it because that's funny. Let's move on.
Winning margin under 5 seconds, between 5 and 10, or over 10 seconds here. What are you thinking?
5 and 10.
You like between 5 and 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a vibes-based analysis, ladies and germs. I have no idea what the fuck's gonna happen.
Ladies and germs.
But neither do you, good. So not you, the listener.
Yeah. Right. I was kind of feeling the under again, under 5. I'm using the same kind of reasoning as last week's race. I think it's gonna be a close battle between the McLarens again, and the car performance is great. They're gonna be close to each other at the end of the race too, is what I think. So I'm gonna go under 5 seconds here.
Okay.
All right, so there's that one for you. And now for our last pick here, the classified finishers. We have a change in the line. I mentioned that in the pre-episode here. The last, I don't know how many races have been 18.5. We now have 17.5 as your line for this race. Remember, when we read in our stats and history, though, they also have an 88% chance for a safety car at this one. Yeah. So, knowing all that information, over or under 17.5, what are you thinking?
I think it's going to be under, and I think there is going to be a safety car this race.
We have been given safety cars in how many of the last races? A lot of them.
4 out of 5 question mark?
I think so. Plus, they're predicting rain.
Yeah, it's going to be chaos.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with it. I like the under. I like under 17.5. You know what's funny about the under on classified finishers here? One of the top gambling slogans is life is too short to bet the under. This is the reverse in that case. Yeah. Life's too short to bet the over. Yeah. In classified finisher. That is the fun part about this one, because some crazy stuff happens when you get the under in classified finishers. Yeah. I like that. It's only 3 cars that need to get out. A wet track, 88% chance for it. I just think that's swaying us the right way here when it comes to that. So I like that one.
Me too. We'll see what happens. I think whatever happens, we're in for an exciting weekend of racing.
Absolutely. Yes. This will be, again, another fun one. We're in the European leg. The European leg generally spits out some pretty good races for us here. Austria was good. Spain was good. Yeah, Spain was good too. The last 3 have been pretty solid here, so I hope that continues going forward. So yeah, let's tune in for a good one here. Again, you got a nice on the East Coast here. You got a nice morning start on Sunday, which will be awesome. I don't know why this didn't update to that. So yeah. Oh, you could sleep in a little bit. Shout out us. 10 a.m. start for you here on Sunday in the East Coast.
Yeah.
Perfect. Means you can go hard on the 4th of July here, which is Friday today as you're listening to it. You got Saturday to sleep it off or continue the party if you want to, and you get a little bit of a sleep in on Sunday for you there for that race at 10. So yeah, what a nice little treat for us for this weekend.
We love to see it.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to cover here on our British Pontiac Grand Prix-view?
I think we are all set, my friend.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see you guys after the race.
There we go. Happy weekend, everybody.
Happy Independence Day, America. Drink a beer, eat some hot dogs, do some grilling, go outside, have some fun, celebrate.
Be careful with the fireworks.
Oh, please. We don't need any JPBs out
Keep your
there.
digits. Keep your digits.
Absolutely.